So I am atheist. I've been atheist for pretty much my entire life. In fact, the earliest time I could actually remember thinking about it is when I was 10 years old and I asked my father if I could stop going to Hebrew school. He said, I have to keep going to Hebrew school until I have my bar mitzvah. So that's what happened. I went to Hebrew school for a few more years, had my bar mitzvah, and then that's it. I was done with religion. But even though I don't believe in God and don't follow any religions, I do understand the importance of religion, especially in American society. A lot of people on the left use the First Amendment to say that America was founded as a secular nation, that we were supposed to have complete separation of church and state. And this is not actually true. The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law in respect to an establishment of religion. Basically, what they're saying is Congress can make no laws in regards to religion. That doesn't mean Congress cannot be religious. It says they cannot make anything specific about religions. So basically, what the First Amendment does is it guarantees you freedom of religion. It does not guarantee you freedom from religion. So if you have someone in politics, someone in the public sector who's talking about their religion, there is nothing inherently wrong with this. Now, if they're going to use their public sector power to spread this religion, that's something else. That's something we can discuss. But religion is important in American society. And we have been losing this for the past 150 years since the rise of Marxism and communism. Communism, Marxism inherently are irreligious. They are inherently atheistic ideologies. Even Marx said this. He admitted this. And there is a fundamental reason for this, and that is because communism and Marxism are by definition totalitarian ideologies. They are ideologies where the state has to have total control of your life. And when you have state control of everything, you cannot have a God. You cannot have a religious deity, because when you have religion, God's laws, God's moralities would trump that of the state. So if you have a religion and the state says do a specific thing, but this specific thing goes against your religion, they cannot allow that. And that's why in America we have things like religious exemption. And so America was founded in Judeo-Christian values. I do believe that the works of Moses, the words of Moses, his ideology, his thoughts are quoted more by Thomas Jefferson than even Jesus Christ. So when he referenced the teachings of Moses a lot more than Jesus in his writings. And the reason for this is because when it comes to religion, religion puts morality on a pedestal. It puts morality on a pedestal above the state. And we can see this in the Bill of Rights. Now, the Bill of Rights, I believe, more has to do with James Madison than Thomas Jefferson. But James Madison has more to do with the Constitution, while Thomas Jefferson has more to do with the Declaration of Independence. But the Bill of Rights specifically is not a document defining the rights that the state is giving you. No, that's not what it is at all. The Bill of Rights says that your rights you already have by the nature of your being. Your rights are endowed to you by your Creator, that you are entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as says in the Declaration of Independence. What the Bill of Rights does is the Bill of Rights specifically puts limits on the government's ability to take the rights you already have away. This is something I've spoken about many times in previous videos. So communism, leftist ideology, cannot have this because they have to have totalitarianism. It has to have state control, and religion trumps state control. So there was a TV series that came out a couple years ago. I guess it was a mini-series. It was only 5 episodes on HBO called Chernobyl, and it was specifically about the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Now, the series didn't go into much about communism in it, but the ideas are still planted in it. And what happens is what the miniseries shows, which is a good miniseries, I highly recommend watching it. What the miniseries shows is how far a communist regime is willing to go to protect its, what's the word I'm looking for? Infallibility. God is supposed to be infallible, but in communism, the state is God. So in communism, the state can never admit that it did wrong. So in communism, the state will murder dozens of people. It will allow thousands of people to be sick and slowly die in a nuclear disaster because it cannot admit it made a mistake. And this is one of the dangers of communism. Hundreds of people, thousands of people, millions of people, 100 million people, and that is just a low estimate. 100 million people dying over the course of a century because of communism, and the communist state not admitting that it made a mistake. And this is because communism has no religion. It cannot defer to a higher power. So religion is important simply because it provides us with our objective morality. Now, if you watched my previous video where I discussed the difference between morality and ethics, it's pretty obvious that I put a substantial amount of weight on objective morality. And I'm very much against subjective morality, because subjective morality is the excuse that moral relativists use to try to say that all societies, all cultures are equal. They just observe a different level of morality than us. No, there is something called right and wrong. Some cultures are better than others. In some cultures, just turning your back on religion, what I did when I was 10 years old, would be punishable by death. The punishment for apostasy is death. Now, even the religions today, like Judeo-Christian religion, Christianity, the punishment for apostasy 1,000 years ago in Christianity was death. Now, Christianity, thankfully, evolved with the times. Christianity became a better religion. There are some religions that are still stuck in the past. For instance, I'd like to use the example many times of Islam. Islam decreed that its book, its Bible, the Quran, was perfect 1,300 years ago. Now, if something is perfect 1,300 years ago, it cannot evolve, because evolution implies that it is absorbing new ideas, better ideas than its old ideas. Now, if you're doing that, then you're not perfect. And that brings me back to America. America was not founded to be a perfect state, a perfect country. No, we were designed to be a more perfect union. Not a perfect union, a more perfect union. We knew we had flaws. For instance, slavery. But within 80 years of the founding of this country, slavery was pretty much abolished, because we were constantly striving to be a more perfect union. Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, when they were outlining this country, they specifically put landmines in our Constitution that could be used to take down slavery. A lot of people on the left will attack the 3/5 compromise. No, the 3/5 compromise is a good thing. The 3/5 compromise was specifically put in to take power away from slavery, because if a slave was worth the full 100% of value, 5 out of 5, then that would have given slave states more power in the legislature. And if slave states had more power in the legislature, they could have propped up slavery longer. But we intentionally weakened the legislative power of slave states so that one day we can get rid of slavery completely. So 3/5 compromise was a good thing, and anyone who is against it today is historically ignorant. But my point is that religion is important, because religion teaches us our objective morality. Leftist ideologies like communism have completely eschewed religion, because when you have religion, religion trumps any sort of ideals that you may have with the state. So we can say all we want about the freedom of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if you want to implement a socialist ideology, then you need to restrict people's rights to liberty and their pursuit of happiness. And because you have no religion that is guaranteeing rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, you are okay with the state taking these rights away. Leftist people have no standards, because if they have the need to violate any sort of rights and good that they declare to have, but they need to violate this to meet the demands of their statist ideology, they will do it, because they have no hold on any sort of objective morality. Everything is inherently subjective to them, even their so-called morality. This is why religion is so important. And even though I am atheist, I do stress the importance of religion. And I often, in my morning walks on Sundays, I will see people outside the churches. I will occasionally just stop my walk and just listen to the sermons, because I do find it very interesting and I do see value in it. I watch a lot of religious videos on all religions, mostly Christianity and Islam. I don't really pay attention to anything Jewish, even though that's what I was brought up on. Religion is important because it teaches us right from wrong. And if you do not have religion, who's left to teach you right from wrong? Is it your parents? Yeah, but where did your parents learn their sense of morality? They learned it from their religion. So once you have a society where you're not religious, you're not going to teach religion to your children. So who's teaching right and wrong from your children? It's simply the state. So basically, you're learning right from wrong based on whether the state wants to punish you for your actions. And we're seeing a lot of these leftist hellholes, these Democrat-run cities, where they have pretty much decriminalized all petty crimes. And when you decriminalize petty crimes, you're not teaching anybody that it's wrong. So crime is rampant. They can talk about their statistics about how reported crime is down. And that's what it is, reported crime. It's because people stop reporting petty crimes because they know you're not going to do anything about it. So, violent crime is up because they'll report it, because they need to see a body. Habeas corpus, show us the body, show us the corpse. That's the only thing we're seeing anymore in these leftist hellholes. Get out of the cities. People have no morality. People have no religion, and it's tearing these places apart. Religion is important. And I do hope more people find religion. I don't think I ever will find religion in my life, because I am too science-based. I care too much about evidence. I care too much about observable fact. I cannot take things on faith like most people do. And sometimes I do wish I was more religious. I wish I could take more things on faith. I just can't do it. I hope more other people can. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Normally, I think about these videos. I come up with a topic and I think about it for the week. And then eventually I don't write anything down, no scripts, but I'll just talk about it. But this one, I decided just to do this video about an hour ago. But this is something I've been thinking about for many, many years. So follow. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Share the video share the video if you can. That really does help me out. Peace out, guys. I'll see you next week with another one.